Sam Logue here for irishboxing.com. Delighted to be joined by the man himself, Emmett Brennan, down in Dublin DOCKLANDS here, the CHQ building. Nice, this is your territory. I think we're getting closer and closer to your territory every time.
Yeah, we're getting closer. Still, we're only 5 minutes from the Tree Arena. So yeah, we done my last session this morning, last sparring session. 8 days out now. So yeah, really sharp. Yeah, really good. Focused, feeling excellent. So you want the last spar to be a good one, and it was that. So yeah, confidence is sky high. Well, what, 8 days out, as we said. Yeah, really looking forward to next week.
Absolutely. Well, of course, we should preface the interview with you're fighting Jamie Morrissey for the 175 pound, that's light heavyweight Celtic title. On the undercard of Katie Taylor against Chantal Cameron 2, or we should say maybe Cameron Taylor 2.
Yeah, that's right, isn't it?
Yeah, sad to say it, but it is the truth. What an opportunity for you. We've talked about this, and we talked about the kind of possibility of getting onto a card like that or whatever, but it's real now. It's a good fight, and it's on a massive platform, massive arena, under one of the biggest stars that Irish sport has ever known. You said you're feeling good, you've had your last spar, but overall, as you kind of edge towards the event now, how are the feelings? How's the excitement? What is it becoming more real for you?
Yeah, it's becoming more real. I actually got down to the Tree Arena last week. I got into the Tree Arena, had a look around. What a venue! And obviously I was there on my own. It was very early, but you can see the size of the place, and I'm obviously imagining that with thousands of people in it, screaming for me, screaming for Jamie, in the midst of a top class battle. So yeah, I'm really looking forward. And now you have fight week coming up, and obviously MATCHROO's fight week is a bit of a circus. It's a big show. For me, I can sort of take experience from the Olympics and not really buy into that stuff, because the main focus is on winning the fight. The winner of this fight is going to set up a US 2024 for themselves. So although you are going to take it all in, you're not going to really buy into it. The main focus is on November 25th.
It's interesting that you say that about kind of having that Olympic experience, because funny enough, I've been at a few conferences where we're talking about the Paralympic Games and stuff, and the circus. It's exactly the word that's come up, like the kind of circus of it. And how do you kind of control your athletes and keep them focused in that environment, right? Because it's so different and new and exciting. Which it's interesting, because that's exactly what MATCHROO is. Like, that's the week in is like so much stuff going on, but the only difference I might say is that there's expectations on you to do things, whereas at the Olympics maybe there isn't so much media for you to do, and you can kind of lock away and do your training, and kind of you're protected by quite a large team as well. And now you're much more raw and out in the open, and MATCHROO's like, okay, open workouts, press conferences, media, the likes of us. How do you envisage dealing with that and kind of keeping your feet on the ground, as you said, not getting too sucked into the circus and the kind of pageantry of the whole thing, but still playing the game to some degree? Yeah,
you're going to play the game, and you're going to do every interview that comes your way. You're going to abide to what MATCHROO have for fight week, and you're going to take it all in, and you're going to love it and enjoy it, and enjoy the little bit of spotlight on you, because not every fight is going to be as big as this. Not every show is going to be a Kate Taylor undercard. So yeah, you are going to take it all in, but you're not going to put too much energy into thinking about or into actually caring about what to say. All my energy and focus is really winning the fight. And again, I've learned that from the Olympics. So you go into the Olympic Village and you're looking around and you see all these stars, and there's a small bit of media, all these good looking women walking around, and your head's going everywhere, and you're sort of losing focus from actual what you're there for. Yeah. You're there to win fights, and that'll be the same next week. There'll be a lot of media attention, there'll be a lot of getting pulled left, right and centre. You'll be going to weigh-ins, going to press conferences. That's part of a MATCHROO fight, but as I said, not every fight is going to be a MATCHROO fight week, so you got to take it all in, but you also got to keep your main focus on the Saturday night, and it's just all about winning.
Absolutely. How much of it do you kind of, like, does it excite you in any way, kind of the pageantry and the circus? Like, is it something that you kind of look forward to and you go, do you know what, that's the environment I want to be in. I want to be on the big promotion. I want to be obliged to do that stuff.
Yeah, of course, because I don't plan on just fighting on one matchroom show and then never being seen again. This is the start for me. This is the beginning. So I gotta get used to it. Get used to these fight weeks. Get used to getting your name out, building a profile. It's something that I am looking forward. As I said, I'm looking forward to taking it all in, meeting the likes of Eddie here, meeting Frank Smith, meeting the matchroom team. Because I'm going to be on the show of days again. I'm going to do the business next Saturday. I'm going to do the business. I'm going to look good doing it. So I plan on being on matchroom shows again, and I'll be doing fight weeks again. So yeah, take it all in. I've worked to get here. I've worked very, very hard to get here. For me now, it's making sure that I get other opportunities after this. The only way them opportunities are going to arise is if I go out and do the business in good fashion.
Absolutely. So that kind of moves us nicely onto the fight. Jamie Morrissey, light heavyweight Celtic title. Your second fight as a pro. Jamie's, I think, not 100% sure, he's like 8-0-1, something like that. He's had a few fights, more than you. He's had quite a lot of competitive fights for his level as well, you know, that kind of domestic competitive level. How do you see the fight going in, and you know, how do you see the fight playing out, and also kind of what problems do you envisage Jamie being able to kind of put to you? Yeah,
well look, he's long, he's awkward, he's fast hands in fairness to him. He can maybe make it awkward for a round or two, but I just feel if he wants to fight a long distance, middle distance, short distance, I'm better than him in every single range. I'm technically a lot better than him. I have a lot more experience than him. I just see me winning this fight, and I see me winning the fight very comfortable. Again, there will be sticky moments in it. He starts very, very fast. We looked at all of his fights. He starts at a blistering pace. He can't really keep that pace. There's a lot of holes in his defence. He moves quite awkwardly, and that could be problems starting off. But we've tried to offset that with the sparring with the likes of King Cowley and Owen Sheridan, these MMA fighters that come from like a Muay Thai K1 background, and we're sparring quite well. So I'm going to be well prepared for what he brings to the table, and ultimately I'm going to get the job done. As I said, I'm sparring. The last few spars I've been very, very good, and we signed off on 8 rounds this morning. You want to end on a good spar. It's not the end of the world if you don't, but I was very, very happy with how we ended today. Good 8 rounds, 2 sparring partners. Fitness was 7th and 8th round. I was fantastic. I was better in the 7th and 8th round than I was in the 1st and 2nd. And I've always said going into the pro game that I'm made for 8 and 10 rounds. Yeah. And you say that thinking it, but then when you're actually doing the rounds and you're sparring and you're coming on very, very strong in them 7 and 8 rounds, you realise what you said all along is true. For Jamie, the only way he can get a result in this fight is win the first 4 rounds. He has to win the first 4 rounds. You look, historically, he fades, and he fades fast. He comes out of the blocks very, very fast. When he decides to do this, I try to pace himself a little bit better on the night. You're judging with how big of a crowd and all the razzmatazz around it, he's gonna come out for it, and so he probably will fade. If he does or doesn't, I'm still gonna be there, and I'm gonna be going to the end.
Is it over 8 or 10 rounds?
8 rounds.
8 rounds?
8 rounds, yeah.
Okay.
So BOI is 10 rounds, Celtic title is 8 rounds.
Okay, fair. How do you envisage kind of, because you kind of touched on it there, like, you know, he saying that like Jamie might get kind of caught up in the whole razzmatazz of the event and stuff. How do you envisage yourself dealing with that situation? You're the home fighter. There's going to be quite a lot of people in there watching you, I would imagine. Hopefully you aren't on too early in the bill. I think I heard you say it, and I actually agree. I think that would be a mistake to put you on too early.
Yeah, look, I
think opening, you know, on the zone before the bell, I think that you should open the main card.
Yeah,
that's probably the right position.
And all the reporters are saying this. Everyone in Ireland is saying it's about getting this across to Eddie Hearn and MATCHROO now. Obviously I have Darren in the background trying to work on that, getting into Frank Smith's area, the likes of that, because this is 2 Irish lads putting everything on the line. Something that doesn't happen that often, but we're doing it. Yeah. My second fight, I think it's Jamie's 7th or 8th fight, putting our own beating record on the line, fighting for the title. you think about every other fight bar Katie's fight, all the crowd is going to be up for one person. This fight has the potential to have like a 50-50 crowd, half them for myself, half them for Jamie. The fight itself, if Jamie's going to come to fight, I'm definitely coming to fight. So we're going to meet in the centre of the ring, we're going to go toe to toe. That's what it looks like it's going to happen. And if you put the crowd into account, 50% in, 50% me, the atmosphere is going to be unbelievable. If you had to put that on before the bell, could be a big mistake, because this is going to be a humdinger. So I'm hoping that they listen to likes ourselves and other journalists and basically everyone in the country that start the main card with this fight, because it's going to be a humdinger. So let's hope they don't miss the ball on that one.
Yeah, let's see how it goes. There's obviously a lot of fights on the card as well, and there's some good title matchups, and like you've got like the likes of a Sky Nicholson, who is Australian, but she's fighting for a world title or an interim world title. Like, you can't knock her on the main card, right? And then you've got like Tomo is floating around there. Does he go on the main card? He was on the main card last time, but kind of by accident, but it worked out really well, right? So he did that what you would like to do this time. He opened the main card last time, and the place was like 50-60% full, and the atmosphere was incredible. So let's see, we kind of have to see how it goes, but it's going to be interesting, like, and I'd love to kind of know their logic behind like, where they place the fights, but let's see how it goes. But what I wanted to touch on there was, how do you envisage dealing with that atmosphere? Because I suppose to some degree it's quite new for you as well, you know?
There is and there isn't. If you want to talk about pressure, I said this in interviews before, real pressure is when you're in a box off to go to the Olympic Games. Yeah. That's real pressure. You've boxed for 20 years, you've got your whole life of sport and career on the line, and you have to win 2 or 3 rounds. That's real pressure. Fighting in an elite final to go on to the Irish team, to go on to the Olympic qualifiers, that's real pressure. And I fought in them 2 fights, 2019 elite finals, against a taller opponent. Thomas O'Toole.
Did you?
Yeah, Thomas O'Toole. So I boxed Thomas O'Toole 2019. The winner was going to the Olympic qualifiers. So basically a box off to go to the Olympic qualifiers. I dealt with the pressure great that night in a stadium that was full. Albeit not the Tree Arena, it was the National Stadium. It was full. I dealt with the pressure. After losing the 4th round, I came back and won the 2nd and 3rd. It held me cool. Yeah. That's real pressure. Going to the Olympic qualifiers where you're 9 minutes away from fulfilling a childhood dream, that's real pressure. And although there is pressure on this, I've dealt with it before. Yeah. And obviously overcoming them 2 fights to get to the Olympics, I take great mental strength from that. You just try putting in your head, it's another fight. Yeah. Ultimately that's what it is, it's another fight.
Well, that's it, and if you can kind of get that, if you can somehow embed that in your psyche, then you're good, obviously. But rather than pressure, maybe the way to ask that question is a bit more like, it's like the atmosphere and the kind of stage, and it's not, you know what I mean? So it's not necessarily the pressure of the fight and what's on the line. You gotta make the
right decisions in the fight, not feed into the crowd. Yeah. Again, I go back to the fight against Thomas O'Toole. I was 1 round down going into the 2nd round, so I lost the 4th round. I had a choice to panic and stay with the game plan. If I had a panic and I would have lost in the 2nd round, and that was your Olympic dream gone. Yeah. I didn't, I stuck with the game plan. I avoided all the outside noise. The noise outside of the ring doesn't really matter. I made the right decisions. Won the 2nd round quite clearly. Went on to the 3rd round again. 50-50 going into the last round. He's won the 1st, I've won the 2nd. You gotta make the right choices in this last round. It's do or die basically. Yeah. And again, I stood up to the pressure. I stood up to that external noise or the external voices outside of the ring, and I got the job done. So I've done it before.
Yeah, you're confident you can control your head.
I can control emotions, external factors. Internally, I'm sort of unbreakable. So it's not that I've even thought about, to be honest.
That's brilliant. That's great to hear. So just on the fight, how do you? We kind of already said it, but like, how do you see it going for you? Like, do you think a knockout is possible here?
Yeah, I
you know
really
what I mean?
do.
Like, in terms of like the kind of breakdown of the fight.
Yeah, I really do. He's going to start fast. He always starts fast. Lots of 1-2s, backhand, uppercut. He's done it in all of his fights that we've studied. You're not really going to turn up and change all of a sudden. So that's what he's very, very good at. He's going to have. He doesn't use his advantages. So he's tall. He's like 6'3". He should be trying to keep a middle to long range, but he comes from a Muay Thai background. He's a warrior. He has that spirit, and he'll go. In fairness, he's a fighter. He's a fighter. He's serious heart. So he's going to come into my range. He's going to trade with me eventually. I think that's bad news for him, because defensively he's not great. His footwork isn't great, and I think that's part of the reason why he doesn't box on the back foot, because his footwork isn't great. And again, this is not. He says I come across disrespectful. That's not me being disrespectful. That's just me being 100% honest in what I think of this fight. I've never name called him. I've never called him anything other than I really believe I'm going to beat him, and I really believe I'm going to stop him.
Yeah, which is totally fair.
Yeah, and like I just think defensively, when you're fighting against someone like me, you got to be defensively smart. You got to have really quick reflexes. There has to be something elite that is going to combat against my counter-attacks. I don't think he has that, and I think I'm going to punish him for it. Well, I said first 4 rounds. I really believe I can, especially with the 10-ounce gloves on. I think I can punish him early on. If that doesn't come, I'm built for an 8-round fight. I'm built to go toe-to-toe for 8 rounds. And I'm going to be there in the 8th round, firing on all cylinders.
You're certainly getting me excited for it anyway, Emmett. I'm looking forward to it.
If you had the same 7 and 8 round today in sparring, like my 7 and 8 round, I was ready to go for 12 rounds. Not a bother. As I said, I'm built for the longer rounds. I am built for it. So if he does fade off, which he has done in every single one of his fights, if he fades, he's in big trouble. He's in big trouble.
We look forward to it. I think at the very least, and Irish fights tend to deliver this for us, is that it's going to be a good fight. No matter what, it's going to be good. Wherever way it goes, it's going to be exciting, and you're definitely doing a good job of hyping it.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. As I said, you look at, you can't really go at my pro career because I've only had one fight, and that was against a journeyman that was very, very negative, that wanted to just survive the 6 rounds. But you look at his last 2 fights, he is in great fights, he's in exciting fights, he gives people what they want, and he's winning. So that's why he's after getting this opportunity. Like, he's after getting a good opportunity because he's winning non-stop, and he's exciting. So yeah, look, it's gonna be a cracker.
Definitely. So let's kind of talk a little bit about the political side of making this fight, because there has been talk about it over the last few months. You know, kind of the McCarthy crown and you coming into the mix, Jamie, how the whole thing has kind of worked politically, and like who really deserves a shot, and does Emmett deserve a shot? You know, he's 1-0, he's only after coming in. Like I interviewed Ian Cochran, who's Jamie's manager, great guy and good manager, and you know, there's definitely some points of view out there that might suggest that, you know, should you be able to just step in and box for a Celtic title or whatever title it may be, but Celtic title in this instance, after only having one fight, you kind of jump in the queue a little bit. So
I am jumping the queue,
and just because you're good and you have really good pedigree, does that kind of qualify you for that? And you know, so what do you kind of make of that conversation? And what do you think?
I can see where they're coming from, and I can see where the likes of the managers are coming from, because they got to put their boxers' best interest at heart and try to get them the opportunities over me. My argument is, I'm better than these lads. It's hard to go off amateur pedigree because you're in professional boxing, but none of these fought at elite level. None of them ever fought for Ireland. I don't. If you take Jamie for instance, I don't know if he had any amateur fights. Look, I've had 200 amateur fights, so I've had a lot more fights and a lot more experience. He's had 7 fights ever. This might be a 7th fight. So if you're taking that into account, yeah, I do deserve there, and I do deserve to be there, and I'll show that on November 25th that I'm there for a reason. I'm not there because, well, yeah, I am. I'm there actually because I went to the Olympics. That's exactly why I'm getting that's why I'm getting the opportunities. My argument would be, you didn't get to the Olympics. You didn't get the fight for your country. You didn't put your heart and soul into getting onto the elite team. So that's why I'm getting the opportunities. And I'm asking for the opportunities. I'm putting myself out there.
Yeah, you're definitely vocal and not shy about putting yourself forward.
It's professional boxing. You don't ask, you don't get. As simple as.
Yeah, 100%. It is a good scene though, isn't it? We've spoken about it before. Like, there's some good domestic fighters for you to perhaps match up with. I think you've been a little bit like, not unsure, but kind of, you've definitely said to me that you don't necessarily want to hang around that level for a very long time. But would you entertain fights with the likes of Kevin Cronin? Craig McCarthy has the 168 pound title at the moment.
This fight is actually at a catch weight of like 172 or something like that, so we're still going to be ranked at super middleweight.
Yeah,
although it's for the light heavyweight title, we're going to be ranked at super middleweight because I'm not a light heavyweight boxer, I'm a super middleweight. This opportunity came up. Obviously Craig McCarthy is the Celtic champion at 168. There was no way he was going to vacate the title, so we had to do some sort of catch weight, which is fine by me, I don't really care. But after this fight I'm campaigning at super middleweight. For me, you look at them two lads that are mandatory for the Irish title the last 6 months, doesn't look like that fight is going to happen. Obviously post November 25th I plan on getting the victory. But again, you don't ask, you don't get. I'm going to just try to fight one of them for the Irish title at 168, because if that fight's not going to happen within 6 months, when is it going to happen? They'll eventually have to move on and go their different ways, whether Craig fights for the Irish title or he defends his Celtic title and Kevin moves on, or Kevin fights for the Irish title. I don't know what's going to happen, but once I get the business done on November 25th, yeah, I'm coming for the BOUT title at 168.
Who's the best opponent for you post November 25th of those guys? Like, who's the one that maybe is the best fight, maybe it's the easiest fight, the hardest fight, the most marketable fight? You know, who would you like for the Irish title?
I think probably the easiest fight to build, I probably think would be Kevin Cronin. If you look at the GAR rivalry between Dublin and Kerry, you could sort of build something similar to that. So I think that will be the easiest to build and the easiest probably ticket sellers. So you want people coming to look at the fight. You don't want to just fight someone and it does 200 or 300 tickets. You want to build something around it. Whether we main event on our own show or whether MATCHROO or something come back and we're on the undercard of that, I don't know. But then you also look at the Kevin Cronin and Jamie Morrissey fights. They were wars. So you know Kevin Cronin's going to be there and he's going to be there till the end. So potentially that has the biggest profile post Jamie Morrissey.
So an interesting thing with you as well, Emmett, is and this is something me and Johnny have discussed, is kind of like what you did to qualify for the Olympics. It's kind of like this weird kind of manifestation thing where you were able to kind of forge your way through and qualify for something that maybe people didn't really think that you were the man who was going to, you know what I mean, like that you were going to be the guy who would qualify for the Olympics, and you got there, and that was kind of that was the achievement, right? It was like qualifying and getting to the games, and you've kind of managed to do it now already early in your pro career, where you've kind of, as you kind of talked about there, you've talked, you haven't been shy about, you know, saying what you want and talking to the right people. But you've managed to get in your second fight onto a matchroom card in Dublin. The second time they've been back in about 8 years or whatever it is, 2014, when Matthew Macklin was the last one before the first Katie Cameron fight. So like, you've managed to kind of almost replicate it again. What is that, or can you kind of talk us through how you managed to kind of make that happen for yourself in those two different situations?
Yeah, one, it's down to hard work. So I graft, I'm a grafter. Day in, day out, I'm in the gym. So I'm doing the work in the background. Then obviously before the Olympics, I had no connections in the Irish team, so there was no one that could do me a favour. So the only way I could get onto that Irish team is literally work as hard as possible, do the small things right, show up every single day, perform when I'm at it, and that's what I done. Yeah. When I'm at it against Thomas O'Toole, I performed. The Olympic qualifiers, I performed. You have to be able to do that. You have to be able to not crumble under pressure, and that's what I do. When the pressure is high, I'm good. I can keep going. You know, what he was going to do there.
Yeah, nor did I.
So when the pressure's on, I succeed. Okay, that's boxing aside. But then your mind say you gotta live this every day in your head in every single thing you do. So first thing I think of when I wake up in the morning is boxing. The last thing I think about at night is boxing. Everything in between, it's how can I be a better boxer? So every day you're obviously getting better, and then now I'm obviously on the professional side of things. You need connections, you need people to open doors, and I was going to go with a different manager that I didn't think could open these doors for me. Obviously I got in touch with Darren, perfect man for me that can open doors. He can get my foot inside doors that other people couldn't do. But I still got to do the work. So you take that into account, then you take my personality. I would say I'm quite likeable. I'm honest. What you see is what you get.
Yeah.
You know I'm going to tell you the truth. There's no secrets here. I say what I believe. So I think I'm a likeable person, and I do the business. And then obviously you got Darren in the background. So yeah, once I keep winning, Darren can open the doors for me. But it's up to me to do the business now. We're in professional boxing. It's the winning business. It's not about the turning up and performing well and getting beaten business. It's about winning. So once I keep on doing the business in the ring, he's going to open doors for me. So after this 2024, you don't know what he's going to open for me. Whether it's BOUT title, whether it's fights in Madison Square Garden, whether it's other fights in New York, whether it's other matchroom shows. But once I do the business on November 25th, once I keep on living this lifestyle that I'm living, once I keep on staying with the same mindset, a winner's mentality, the future for me, it's looking very, very bright. The opportunities are endless.
Yeah. Is the main goal with kind of, you know, I suppose the goal is to get the fight on the big card. You've secured it early in a good matchup that allows you to, it's a good matchup for both of you in the sense that it allows you to look good, right? It allows you to kind of have a fan-friendly fight, which I think is really important to someone like Eddie Hearn and to MATCHROO as a business model. But is the goal to look really good here in your performance so that you can secure a contract with MATCHROO, or, you know, like a temporary contract or a multi-fight deal, or one by one, whatever it may be, you know?
Like, look, I offer MATCHROO something. It's not about just one fight and done. You think about it. Imagine I fought here and I'm at the talk and all this talk and I turn up and I stink the place out. That's your opportunity gone. Gone. Thrown up, thrown in the bin. That's gone. That's not going to happen though. We talked about it earlier on. This is going to be a humdinger. We're going to be in a very, very entertaining fight. As I said, I'm very, very confident I'm going to win in great fashion. Then you take into account I've sold over 600 tickets for this. I'm from Dublin, okay?
600?
Yeah, so we've done really well on tickets, okay? So we have opportunities in Dublin. I'm going to sell huge tickets in New York. There's opportunities when their events, you're going to go to Madison Square Garden, and they might do Balanga or something like that. It looks like they're going to do Balanga probably in January or February. Don't know how well Balanga will do depending on who he's fighting. There's an opportunity for matchroom shows on the undercard over there. I've promised them I'll do big tickets. I've got great connections in New York with the Irish community, around the pubs, the Gaelic community, so there's a real opportunity for them to market us over there as well as when they come back to Dublin. So this isn't going to be the last time we're on a matchroom show. Could potentially be a contract, but it all depends on how well I do on November 25th.
Absolutely.
Again, I got the best man fight in my corner for a contract, whether it's a 1 or a 2 fight deal, whether they're just throwing you a bone and giving you a fight on an undercard, wherever it may be. But I'm ambitious and I want to move fast, so I'm sure they would appreciate my ambition, and you never know what could happen over the next year.
Definitely. Well, you seem to be doing the right things to kind of put yourself in the right positions for that anyway. But I want to ask your opinion on a few different things. I'd like to talk about the card a little bit. It's a good card. There's a good Irish component to the card. One of the fighters that I've been drawn to over the last couple of years anyway, for sure, is Gary Cully. Obviously, he's coming back after that kind of shock defeat to Jose Felix Jr. the last time out in Dublin on Katie's last undercard. Fighting Reece Mould looks to be a favourable matchup for Gary, but what do you think of that fight for Gary, and kind of how do you see his kind of route back, and do you have kind of opinions? Do you watch a lot and kind of follow the other Irish lads?
To be honest, I actually I haven't looked at any of the fights on the card. Like who the other lads are fighting, I actually don't really know the other matchups on the card, bar Katie, and I knew we was fighting a fellow Reece Mould, but I don't know who Reece Mould is, and that, again, not being disrespectful, you sort of only keep in touch with your own weight, well I do. But Gary's obviously coming off a loss. You want to take the positives off that. He has a chance to rebuild. I don't know. I know there was a big, we talked about the circus earlier on, so that's where I'm sort of like, I'm not getting drawn into that circus, because they made a huge deal about Gary in the first fight, and maybe he bought into that a little bit. Again, I don't know the circumstances, and he came unstuck, but that can happen to anyone. You look at the UFC model, most UFC champions have 3 or 4 losses. At least, you know, you look at it, they get beaten, they're entertaining fights, they have another chance to rebuild. This is a chance for him to rebuild. I know Gary, I don't know him too well, but I obviously see him on social media and I follow his strength coach, Noah Barrett, and to me, from the outside, he looks like a mentally very, very strong person. He looks like a grafter. He looks like one of the hardest trainers I've ever seen in my life. So to be that good of a trainer and to always put yourself at the top of the pile in his runs and the strength work and all the other stuff, you have to be built different, a little bit different mentally. So I'm 100% sure he's gonna come back from that. He's obviously changed camps, he's gone over to Liverpool. Maybe that's what he needed, because he was top of the pile here by a long shot. Now he's in a different gym. I went sparring Callum Smith a few months ago, and it's a top class gym. The coaches are top class, but I'm sure they're going to bring the best out of Gary. Not that he wasn't getting the best here, but he was top dog. Now he's probably a little bit down the ladder in that gym, where again, you're going back to his mindset. It probably doesn't matter if he's top dog or he's down here. He's working every day, and he's a very hard worker. So again, I don't know much about the lad that he's fighting, but perfect opportunity for him to rebuild himself, a perfect opportunity to deal with the adversity, deal with his first loss. So he's dealing with something negative for the first time in his career, and he can go out and make a statement. This could be night and day compared to 6 months ago. He could go out and knock a fella out in 2 or 3 rounds, and 6 months ago was forgotten about. Then you're looking at his next opponent, the one after that. I'm sure he'll get back up to world title level, but as he will do, he'll keep his head down and he'll get the job done. But I'm happy that he's getting another opportunity, because I don't like seeing people, because boxing, people forget that boxing is a business. I went to there going,
no, carry on.
Yeah, so people forget boxing is a business, but the fighters are actually human beings at the end of the day as well. So I don't like to see someone get knocked out or someone to get beaten and I saw just brushed aside. So he has another opportunity to get his name in lights, and he'll be co-main event, I'm 100% sure. Another chance to get his name out there. Hopefully he gets a highlight reel or just gets the victory and moves on from 6 months ago, because as I said, judging by what I see on social media, he's a top quality trainer, and you want to see people that train that much and put that much into the sport and take chances on themselves, moving away to Liverpool. You want to see these people rewarded, so I'll be rooting for him anyway.
Definitely. I want to touch on what you talked about there. You were sparring Callum Smith, which is like unbelievable sparring. He's obviously lined up to fight Beterbiev for the light heavyweight, unified light heavyweight titles. What was that like? What was that kind of experience like? How good is Callum Smith?
A great experience for me. So they just texted me on the Friday saying if I could come over on the Monday, and I was like, I can be here today if you want. I'm not turning down an opportunity like this. So Callum texted me on the Friday to go over on the Monday. Went over literally straight off the plane, straight into sparring with him. Done 5 or 6 rounds, maybe 5 rounds the first day, 6 rounds on the Wednesday. Very good, very good. So I learned a few small things that he does excellent. He uses, obviously he's a different fighter than me, but just how he uses the range, his block hook, very
catch and count.
Catch and count is very, very good. So I was obviously wary of that going into the spar, but I done well in the spar. I was very impressed. As I said, I did well against taller opposition, and I'd only sparred on the Friday previously, and I was dog shit the week previous. So even my coach was saying to me going over, just you really need to go over there and take that spar, and I wasn't throwing down the opportunity. But I was terrible the week before, but I sparred quite well against him. I did spar quite well against him.
You kind of rise to the occasion.
Yeah, you do. Look, obviously I want to go in and put on a good show. For him it's probably just another spar. He was maybe 4 or 5 weeks out from the initial fight with Beterbiev. It obviously got cancelled since then. But great experience. For me, a good learning experience. I took 1 or 2 things from what I learned with him and I've put it into my game. So I have improved since then. I know he's fighting Beterbiev again at the end of January, so hopefully I get another call post November 25th to go over and spar the likes of him. But
no, Callum Smith does seem like a gentleman and what a boxer he is. So what an experience for you to be able to be in there and
I
just learn from him.
Yeah, I done a track session with him as well. The track session was worse than the sparring. My God, it was rough. It was like 400 metres, 40-second rest, 200 metres, 40-second rest, 100 metres, then like you rest until his heartbeat goes back down to 140. It was 6 rounds of them. Honest to God, it was
full pelt, like
full. You're over there and you're trying to impress and you're trying to keep up with him, and that's what I'm saying. That obviously I would say Gary Cully's a better runner than him, but he's in the atmosphere and he's around the likes of that. It only brings the best out of it, because I was trying to keep up with him. Couldn't keep up with Callum. I wasn't too far off him, but it brought the best out of him. And to be around the likes of that for Gary every single day, it's only going to make him a better fighter. It's only going to make him a better athlete, and it's going to make him want them more, because as I said, he was top dog here. He's not top dog anymore. So yeah, a great camp to be around, and the coaches are top class as well. So yeah,
that's something I wanted to ask you about actually. Have you considered, we talked about this last time, have you considered any different coaches? I know you kind of said to me, like, if you're going to be based on this side of the world or in Ireland, like you would stay with the lads in Docklands, like you're happy there and comfortable there and trust the lads. But you know, going over to somewhere like Liverpool and seeing Declan O'Rourke and Joe McNally work, and the stable that they have as well. You're talking about like Josh Taylor, Callum Smith, Liam Smith, JJ Metcalf, Gary Cully, Kevin Ajarko's there as well, so there's good Irish interest up there as well.
It's top class, and it's only literally across the stage again.
Is this something you would consider?
Yeah, like obviously I'm very, very happy where I am. Philip is top class, and the amount of time that he puts into me on top of his own job, like I couldn't ask for better. I'm very, very lucky because Docklands is flying at the moment, so everyone's flying. I'm around winners every single day, and I'm training with winners every single day, and that rubs off each other. Similar to the likes of camp in Liverpool, they're all winners and they're all competing with each other and making each other better. So I'm very, very lucky I'm in the environment that I'm in. If I wasn't in Docklands and it was just me and Philip, I would probably be thinking different, because you're not around a bunch of winners. Like, no matter how good your coach is, you've got to be in that environment every single day, and I'm very, very lucky and blessed to be in that environment. All the lads and the girls in the club are flying, so there's no real reason for me to leave that club. But yeah, it's something I have thought about in 2024, whether I'm going to New York for a few months here and there. But the main thing for me is I've got to be with a good coach. Not only a good coach, I've got to be around winners.
Yeah.
Like, because we talked about Gary being over there, you're around these people, you're a product of your environment. If you're around people that are at the top end of the game, that they're pushing each other on, although boxing's an individual sport, if you're around these people and you're in this environment and the atmosphere is win at all costs, it's only going to make you a better athlete. So yeah, it's something that we look at post November 25th, but if it doesn't happen, I'm in the best club in Ireland. So it's a win-win either way. If I move away and I'm with a full-time coach in a great environment, I still have the same thing in Ireland. So it's something we look at post November 25th, but I haven't put much thought into it.
Fair. I don't think there's much left to talk about there,
We've
Emmett.
been probably here for an hour, have we?
We've been here for the best part of an hour anyway, for sure. I'm gonna leave it there because I don't want to take up too much of your time. Even though every time I interview you, I try to keep it like under like 20 minutes, and it's minimum 45.
It's just the way it goes, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, listen, we have good chats. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, and best of luck.
Yeah. Look,
next week, man.
8 days out. I've trained 100% with this. I'm sure Jamie Morrissey has trained and left no stone unturned, so it's going to make for a great fight. Both of us had 8 or 9 weeks notice for this fight, so there's no excuses. Both of us have left no stone unturned, I'm sure, so it's going to be a great night, but this is going to be fight of the night.
Yeah? You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Fight of the night. Emmett Brennan, thanks very much for talking to IrishBoxing.com. We look forward to seeing you next week, and really looking forward to the fight with you and Jamie. Has Barnstormer written all over it, and listen, hopefully you can, well, one of you, whoever wins the fight, don't want to be too biased here, but hopefully you guys can make a good mark and make Eddie Hearn's ears prick up, and at the very least bring him back to Dublin again, bring him back, you know, encourage him to come back and invest in the Irish.
Look at the talent that's on there next week, of course he's going to be back. Hopefully,
and yeah, I appreciate your time, as I say, and all the best, man. Thanks very much.